Hey everyone, and welcome back to this class, the NumPy stack in Python. In this lecture, we are going to take our first look at pandas. Pandas is a lot like R, so if you're coming from an R background, you'll be very comfortable with pandas. If you're not from an R background, some things that pandas does might seem backwards or contrary to the way that the rest of the NumPy stack works. The goal of this section is not to show you everything that pandas can do, but rather to show you the features that we use most often in machine learning and data science. A lot of the time, all we need to do is load the data and then immediately convert it into a NumPy matrix. So the full list of features is not really necessary, and it's also easy to forget since you won't use it often. So let's go ahead and load the same dataset we loaded in previously. Remember that we are still in the folder linear regression class. So let's import pandas as PD. And now let's use the pandas method. So the method is called readCSV. We pass in the CSV file name. And we want to set header equals none. We need to specify that header is none because pandas can read CSVs that have a header row, which will usually contain the column names for each column. We'll look at a dataset that has columns later. If you want to know more about the arguments that the readCSV function can take, you'll want to consult the pandas documentation. As you can see, there are a lot of arguments. 99% of the time, you won't need any of these, so it's not worth reading from beginning to end. Just look it up when you need something specific. So you might be wondering what type of data type this function actually returns. So let's check. We see that it's a data frame. This is a new object we haven't encountered before. Data frames come with quite a few useful functions, which we'll explore in this section. First, let's check the info function. We see that there are 100 rows, as expected, and that the index to each row is an int64. That's interesting because it tells us that there could possibly be other types of row indexes, for example, strings. Remember that in NumPy, we're working with matrices, so our indexes are always integers. We can see that there are a total of 3 columns, and they are just called 0, 1, and 2, as one might expect. We can also see that the data type stored in the data frame is float64. In general, pandas will try to use the most specific data type possible. So for example, if you had all integers, it wouldn't use float, it would use int. If you had a string in one cell, then it would use a string for everything. Another function we can call is head, and this gives us a preview of what's in the data frame. Specifically, it prints out the first few rows. If you want to see a specific number of rows, just pass that number into head.